welcome to week 2 vlog. Different setting. Cool. Week 2 of term 2. Sure. Alright. So obviously this week, because it was the first week back after the Christmas holidays, there were lots of new stuff going on, lots of things to learn, things to start doing, and have a little boogie. So for singing, I'll start there. We started learning the song Let There Be, which is from the Children of Eden musical, written by Stephen Schwartz. There's research for that, like, above this. So we first came into the lesson, and we started with we had to talk about our research. So we had 3 different sections. We had Stephen Schwartz, Children of Eden, and Greek theatre. We just had to pop a fact on about each one. So just, you know, getting to know different things about it and, like, showing our research and stuff like that. Mine was, Stephen Schwartz was, he wrote Wicked, because I'm basic. For Children of Eden, it was about Genesis or about the Bible. I can't remember which one I said. And then the other one was, I just said for Greek theatre, the ensemble as a character, so having the chorus, which is what we're focusing on Greek chorus this term. Okay, so then after singing, we got put into our singing groups, so, you know, altos, sopranos, etc., etc. So, and just started to learn the song, like, as we normally do. I struggled with the alto part, like I always do, because I just don't like the notes that I have to sing. But I think with practice, I can definitely get there. That's a lot easier than Mary Did You Know last term. So that's something. So what was effective about this rehearsal is the fact that we all got our fans out and recorded the different parts of each, you know, so like sopranos, altos, etc. So that because we have to split off into separate groups and do our own little composing thing, almost. Not composing, but you know what I mean. To split off and do, like, so we have recorded each part so that we can learn them each and know the song inside out, so, like, and be able to add harmonies maybe in between the parts or something. So that was super effective, because now we can grow and keep going. What we could develop is definitely we need to practice. Like, to develop, we need to develop those, like, alto notes, which are, you know, poor. We can the lyrics as well. Make sure diction's there, because we're storytelling, which means it needs to all be clear, like the whole of last term. And then also we need to, like, put expression into it, because it's, whoa, the creation of the universe, how cool. You can't just be monotonous, so make it exciting. So that's what can be developed in singing. Sick. Right, that's not right. Let's move on to drama. So, well, technically drama. So first I'll talk about taiko drumming, because that's what we're doing now in one of our sessions with Rosie. So I was starting fresh this week, so it was super confusing and super stressful. Basically, it's from Japan. I mean, yeah, it's Japanese, so there's lots of, like, different words that can be used for it and stuff like that. Like sore is ready. I butchered that, but sure. Like, ready to go. So then we focused on the dongo, which was, like, the bass beat to start off with. So getting used to, like, playing with the drums and the ways we should hold the bachi, which are the sticks that we drum the drums with. And then we, like, once we got used to that and got, like, a dongo going, we then started moving on and learning the song we're doing, a small segment of it. And that was a lot, because basically when you're doing the bass beat, you don't need to focus on the right and left, but when you're doing a song that focuses on a certain hand going forward and hitting that bit, then it's very confusing, especially for someone who struggles with her rights and lefts. Hi.
So how did you get past that problem?
I had to focus really, really hard and not listen to my rights and lefts and just make noises in my head. So instead of being like left, right, left, I was like bum, bum, bum. So that's what I was doing in my head the whole time and ignoring literally everyone. I wasn't doing any of the big fancy arm things, just focusing on making sure I get the beat right and the rhythm right. So what can be, like, developed with that is obviously to be able to do it with all the pizzazz of taiko drumming, because there's definitely, like, it's a performance, so you've got to be able to do movement and, like, stand in the proper way. So be able to do it and do the drum as well, so make it muscle memory. So maybe, like, try focusing on, like, rhythm and stuff when I'm not in lesson. Maybe like play rhythm games or something. I feel like that could be quite helpful because it gets back into, like, I haven't done music in years, so back into, I need to start thinking musically. Sure. What was effective about that lesson was that I managed to, like, overcome the right-left thing and find my own way to work around it, which is great because that's what the whole course is about, is finding your own way about how different things work and making it work for you. So that was just taiko drumming. With drama, then with Rosie again, we did work with like the old men characters we made with masks last term. So things like, well, for starters, we like spoke about keywords for old men, popped them down on a piece of paper, then categorized them and like wrote different things around. So we had like wise old man, like politician, the crazy one, and stuff like that. So then we like picked one to go for and made gestures for each one. Now I really struggled with this because I wasn't feeling that creative that day, and the people I were with weren't feeling that creative either. So it was a bit of like, we need to get going, but we can't. So we had to come up with 4 gestures, 3, an amount of gestures, and travel between them in our character. I chose wise old man because I felt like that one fitted the mask I was like sort of starting to come up with, like paint and stuff like that, and also I felt it would just work with my acting style more, so I thought it would just be easier to start off with that character and build it up. So like I said, struggled with it. So then to like combat that, overcome, that's the word I'm looking for, overcome the like problems of that lesson, I went back to like very simple basic like gesturing things and then start building a character around that. So what do old people do? Drink tea, I don't know. So then we can, hunch over and have the shake, but also like the knowing glance of a wise old man, etc., etc. And like also give the character a setting. So we like put a chair out and like maybe he was sitting in a cafe or something, like with a grandchild or with like a friend, like giving them advice or something like that. At least that's how I pictured it when I was doing that. So that's what was helpful about that. So once again, what was effective about that was that I was struggling with my character and managed to give myself a little characterization, quick summary by giving it a place, giving it like a reason for it, so I could easier do it better than if I hadn't, because I was really struggling, like I said. What could be developed would be to not have that like massive struggle, because I get like people struggle with like creativity, but it was like 5 minutes of just not knowing what to do. So probably try attempting that thing with the setting and character a little bit earlier in the lesson, so I didn't waste so much time and didn't work myself up and get all stressed out about it. And then also like don't worry too much about what the other person's doing. Like focus on what you want to do with your person or character, and then they can sort out their own thing. Even if you're working in a group, you can still put you first because it's what you're meant to do in life. And then more drama. I've gone on for a while. So then we had, with Nige, we started another Greek play called Lysistrata. And Lysistrata is very interesting. It's very vulgar. Oh, I sound like an old woman. It's just, it's about like women who don't want their men to be at war, so they ban them from having sex. But like, it's a lot. So our activity was having different parts we all got given different like summaries of parts of the play, and then we had to make a movie trailer based with a specific genre about that part. So we got where the men tried to smoke the woman out of undisclosed city, and with fire, so the woman pour water on it to put it out, so they're fine. Like the least uncomfortable bit of the whole thing. So we chose musical. Well, first we wanted to go for horror because we thought that'd be quite like an interesting category to go for, and there's loads of stereotypes you can hit, so you can make sure it's really clear what genre you're going for. But after some thinking, we thought that might be really hard to do without, you know, all the editing and stuff like that and the music. So we thought, well, why not just do like some musical thing and go from there, you know? So we thought of songs that just had fire and water in. So like, take that and stuff like that. And then made some movements around it, and we had someone narrating it, so it didn't get too, you know, boring. Well, we had like interjections to make sure it kept with that movie trailer style that we were meant to go for, and also kept like didn't let us go off track just singing about fire for 5 minutes. It was like, okay, they're singing about fire, and then the woman come along and throw the water, you know. So like working with different things and making sure we stick within the styles we've been given, and, you know, do the task instead of just, I don't know, doing a scene or something. That's not my notes. And then, so with that, what was effective was our problem-solving skills. So with the whole horror thing, like, we started with the idea, didn't like it, and then moved on very quickly instead of getting caught up about it. So just keeping and snapping and like deciding that this wouldn't be as good as maybe the other genre would be. So solving that and jumping over from that and not wasting time in lesson and just, you know, getting a move on. What could be developed was maybe, this is one that's a bit weird, is like, you could say maturity is a thing, because you could be like, some people really uncomfortable with the sex thing. You could say that that's about people being immature, or you could just say some people just aren't comfortable with intimacy like that. But we're doing the play for the whole term, so we've definitely got to overcome that. So what can be developed is getting more comfortable with the topic of like the whole sex thing, and not saying the whole sex thing every time you need to talk about it. So when you need to talk about it. So like moving on and keeping a stiff upper lip and doing it instead of, you know, dancing around it. Moving on to dance. Look at me go. Okay, so then for dance, we started a new piece after watching loads of different dance pieces. I can't, the name of it will be in this thing, the blog post below, but the dance to the different seasons by a composer, whatever. Focusing very contemporary dance, so like loads of, you know, there were the flow movements, but also, you know, using angles and stuff like that for the different seasons. So then from that, we're taking inspiration to continue like with a Greek theatre theme. We're focusing on doing a dance piece about the women of Trojan. So women who had awful things done to them throughout like the war and throughout whatever Greek tragedies were spoken about. So like the concept of the piece is the Greek gods meddling in the human affairs and like pushing down the mortals, pushing down the people, and like so that they can't continue on and like using their power in a way they shouldn't be. So it was sort of like really focusing on chaos and like a whirlwind of like a massive storm, which is within the Women of Trojan piece, so referring back to that. So we started by doing like a piece where some of us were walking over people who were rolling over the floor, stuff like that. So there's those Greek gods standing up and pushing over, or the people rolling on the floor are the mortals who were like struggling to get up from the pressure of the gods. Then moving on to some choral things, throwing that back to, you know, classic Greek chorus and making sure we remain that unified thing and keep within the styles we're focusing on. We then, once we'd done that bit, started doing solos inspired by the words gliding, pulling and pushing down. So sort of like we had like 5-10 minutes to think of movements that can go with each one. So, well, not with each one, inspired by the words, so like a whole solo that goes through the piece. There'll be a video of that below. Okay, so what was effective was the close choral work we did. So after we did our solos, we all came together and did them at the same time on the stage. Also us, you know, coming up with our own dances instead of just Catherine doing it and us copying. So it's really interesting to see how different people devise in dance, and us working together as a chorus, but also not, and then coming together like truly like Greek chorus is. So that was really effective, that we could just get on and keep pushing on and using like such a simple stimulus to make some lovely pieces. And then what can be developed is definitely some embarrassment around solos, especially for me. It felt so uncomfortable to be, it felt so vulnerable to be like right close to the front and to performing a piece I came up with like 3 professional dancers in the room. So what I can now do to avoid that, confidence in dance is something that's come up time and time again, and yes, my confidence has really grown, but as we move on to things with solos and stuff like that, I need to really start focusing in on it and making sure I don't let myself get out of control, taking breathers if I need to, but also not disrupting my work, and just trying to give myself a bubble and not caring about what the lovely, gorgeous professional dancers are doing. I think that's about that, other than Unit 7 and starting some research on Midsummer's Night's Dream and, you know, reading different things up about them and creating Padlets with partners to have presentations about. That's about all we did this week. It's nice to have a subject theme tying all of our subjects together, because normally, like last time, it was just like singing, we're doing something completely different than what we're doing in dancing. But within all of it this term, we've got the clear, clean line of Greek chorus, which